The knowledge whale returneth. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. According to astronomers at the Australian National University, there are 10 times more stars in the night sky than there are grains of sand in the world's deserts and beaches. Even though the Church of Scientology has been in Germany since 1970, the German government doesn't recognize it as a religion and sees it instead as an abusive business masquerading as a religion. Why don't we look at it this way in North America? This is a stinging bush known as a gimpy gimpy. Touching it delivers a potent neurotoxin, yet its fruit is edible if the stingers are removed. Alpacas can get sick or even die from loneliness, so it's always best to have them in pairs or more. About 90% of the world's population lives in the northern hemisphere. This means that only about 700 million people live in the southern hemisphere. According to biologists working at Newfoundland's Memorial University, bread is junk food for ducks because it makes them fat and disease-ridden. Dogs watch more TV now than they did before because of flat-screen televisions which flicker at a rate that a dog's eyes are actually able to process. People in China are increasingly wearing surgical masks to protect themselves from air pollution, and it's even become a fashion statement with designer masks. North Americans work more, take fewer vacations, and retire later than people in other industrialized countries. Live free or die is the official state slogan in New Hampshire and is written on all license plates. Ironically, prisoners in New Hampshire are the ones that make those license plates. The Bororo people are an indigenous race in Brazil and all share the same blood type, type O. This is the last known photo of the Titanic before it sank. Beethoven began losing his hearing at the age of only 28, so he cut the legs off his piano so that he could sit on the floor and compose music by feeling the vibrations of the piano. The greater honey-guide bird guides people to beehives, and after the honey is taken out, the bird eats what's left of the hive. Indonesian scientists have created a birth control pill for men by using a plant called the Genderusa. It's 99% effective and is planned for release in the Indonesian market in 2016. The urine from a maned wolf smells like marijuana. Who discovered this? Indonesia's Kawah Ijen volcano burns blue along with its lava because of the high amounts of sulfur gas contained within it. Boxer and Olympic gold medalist George Foreman has 5 sons, and he named all of them George. There's a hotline in Germany called Schrimpfloss, which means swear away, where people can call to let off steam after a stressful day at work. In 2013, Mark Zuckerberg spent $30 million buying 4 houses that surround his home just to make sure that he has privacy. The shortest jail sentence in history was given in 1906, where a man named Joe Munch was sentenced to 1 minute in jail. In 2012, a Swedish man named Peter Skylerberg survived for 2 months in a snowed-in car by eating snow and staying warm in a sleeping bag. In 1993, a lawyer named Gary Hoy in Toronto decided to show off to a group of law students just how durable his office's windows were by body checking one. Unfortunately, the window didn't shatter and instead popped out of its frame, and he ended up falling 24 stories to his death. Charlie Sheen once spent over $6,500 to buy 2,615 seats at a baseball game so that he could catch a home run ball. He went home empty-handed that day. There's a religion called Dudism, based on the movie The Big Lebowski, which advocates the practice of going with the flow, being cool-headed, and taking it easy. Created in Italy, Let's Pizza is the world's first pizza vending machine and can deliver fresh pizza with custom toppings in only 3 minutes. Mariana Nomova is a 16-year-old Russian powerlifter. She can bench press 170 kilograms. In 2010, photographer Robert Haas managed to get a picture of a flock of flamingos migrating to form the shape of a giant flamingo in the Gulf of Mexico. City raccoons are very intelligent and have learned to adapt to their urban environment by opening doors and trash bins. In 1986, a French woman named Nadine Vajour was so determined to get her husband out of jail that she learned how to fly a helicopter and flew over the prison where he was at to pick him up off of the roof. And she did, but was arrested shortly after. The Maruyama Zoo in Japan spent 4 years trying to mate 2 hyenas before realizing that they were both male. I feel like that's pretty obvious. Just look at they both got dinglings. It can't happen. In 2014, the Journal of Neuroscience found that brain patterns synchronize when people have conversations, as our brains are constantly trying to predict what the person is trying to say next. As of July 2015, 600 billion Lego parts have been produced, which is about 86 pieces for each person on the planet. In Thailand, people text 555 to each other instead of ha 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 because the number 5 is pronounced ha in Thai. The Santoro River in Indonesia is considered the most polluted river in the world, full of dyes, chemicals, and a lot more nasty stuff. There are white strawberries with red seeds in Japan called the scent of first love. They are amazingly sweet and rich, but also ridiculously expensive at about $4.10 American per berry. In 2012, John and Frances Canning invited Queen Elizabeth to their wedding in Manchester as a joke. But astonishingly, the Queen surprised them by actually showing up. Elvis Presley once tipped a limo driver by buying him the same limo that he had been driving him around in. A businessman named Armand Hammer coincidentally served on a board of directors for Arm & Hammer. Paul McCartney is the only musician to ever top the charts as a solo artist and in a duo, trio, and quartet and quintet. In the music industry, for every $1,000 of music sold, the average musician only gets about $23.40. The iOS game Clash of Clans makes an astonishing $1.5 million a day. Habitat 67 is a model community and housing complex in Montreal and is considered an architectural landmark as well as being the most recognizable buildings in the city. About 4.6% of the population of New York City has a net worth of over $1 million, meaning that 1 out of every 21 New Yorkers is a millionaire. Facebook has over 1 billion users and more than 10,000 of them die every day, meaning that dead Facebook users will soon outnumber the living ones, which also means that it could become a digital graveyard by the year 2065. A 20-year-old gallon of McDonald's barbecue sauce that was used for the McJordan burger in the early 1990s sold for almost $10,000 in 2012. Yeah, good use of money. While filming I Am Legend, Will Smith got so attached to his co-star Abby the German Shepherd that he asked if he could keep her, but the owner refused. An artist named Johann Stottier spent 4 years painting a woman to resemble a parrot. Yes, that is a woman, not a parrot. Look closely. During World War II, the Soviets built an A-40 Krylia tanka, a tank with wings. It didn't actually work. If humans had eagle vision, we'd be able to see an ant crawling on the ground from the roof of a 10-story building. In fact, everything would also be brilliantly colored and objects in our line of sight would be magnified. And now you're smarter from the knowledge, well, Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to my channel by pushing that red subscribe button. I make videos every Tuesday and Saturday. Also, be sure to subscribe to my vlog channel. There will be an annotation right there and in the description. And finally, be sure to follow me on Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram. Those are the best ways to check out what I'm doing behind the scenes. And other than that, I will see you guys next time. Love your faces, knowledge whale out, slap slap.